This is News Today, and you're welcome. Labour and Employment Minister Haruna Idrisu says there will be full disclosure by the end of the week on the controversial second-tier pension, which has sent public sector workers withdrawing their services. Before that could happen, the Labour Ministry is engaging Labour in some last-minute talks, and my colleague Matilda Wamega has joined us from the Labour Ministry with an update on this. Hello, Matilda.
Hello, Kamini.
What have you gathered?
Well, the meeting is still in session. We are still hoping that any moment from now they would come out with a decision to address concerns raised by the Labour Union. The meeting involves the of employment and labour relations. It's also the deputy director of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is also in this meeting, and we are looking at how best to address these concerns raised by the Labour Union. So as and when they come out of this meeting, we'll bring you more details on it.
Very well. Do you have an idea of which of the 12 Labour unions were represented?
So far, those we have spotted, we've seen NAGRAS around, we've seen NAS also around, we've seen CCP around as well, we've seen GMA around, we've seen Ghana Registered Nurses Association around, we've seen Health Service Workers Association around. A number of them have tried to turn up for this meeting, and it looks like something positive might come out of today's meeting.
I see. We'll get back to you for some more when that meeting is over. Hopefully, we'll bring some live pictures to our viewers as well. Away from Labour and its related issue, Accra has been divided into several zones to make waste collection easier than it is now. What this means is that there is a specific waste collection company in charge of waste in your area. Director of Innovations at Jikora Ventures, Ikechai Nkrumah, speaking on Clean Communities, said first-class areas will pay a monthly levy of 100 cedis, while those in second and third-class areas will pay 60 and 20 respectively.
In the Accra metropolitan area, for instance, the area has been divided into 10 sub-metros. And then within those sub-metros, we have what we call first-class areas, second-class areas, and third-class areas. The AMA has come to the understanding or has realized that there are various, should I say, economic groups or economic classes in various areas. First-class areas are paying 100 cedis a month. Second-class areas are paying 60 cedis a month, and third-class areas are paying 20 cedis a month. If we are to price waste management services as they exist right now, a flat rate for everybody would be somewhere around 75, 80 cedis. And the understanding that several areas and classifications of people may not have the ability to afford that kind of payment, it has been subsidized in that way to put some of the weight on other places and lessen the weight on other places.
Well, the Minister of Local Government, Julius Deborah, has called on the country's security agencies to come out in full force to support government's latest initiative to rid the country of filth. The ministry is seeking to institutionalize the first Saturday of each month as the National Cleanup Day and has been courting the support of all to make it a success. With just a few days to the first National Sanitation Day this Saturday, the minister Monday took his campaign to the security agencies.
The sanitation crusade by the minister has attracted lots of stakeholders, including religious leaders, chiefs, and MMDAs, with more individuals and groups expected to come on board. For the minister, the place is particularly crucial in the crusade as they are strategically placed to help in the enforcement of the bylaws that will ensure that the National Sanitation Day is successful.
The National Sanitation Day is a form of communal labor where we are asking every citizen or every person who lives in Ghana that on the first Saturday of every month, at least once a month, we all use the occasion to remind ourselves and to get involved, trying to do something within our homes, our immediate surroundings, our communities, our churches, and other public places. So far, we've got indication that people are really interested and they think it will work.
The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan, applauded the minister's initiative and promised to deploy his men to help in the enforcement of the bylaws and also take active part in the exercise.
We are backing up on this to sensitize our people, to educate. As we go along, I believe we want it to be a habit rather than a one-time type of... so I did discuss this with the minister as to coercive force. I don't think that is the ultimate objective. Of course, when it comes to law enforcement, we are obliged to enforce the law as an agency.
The minister was also at the Ghana National Fire Service, where the chief fire officer promised to help in the exercise. He, however, asked that the Ghana Water Company assist with tanker services for the day.
On the part of the service, as you mentioned, we will gladly participate. It's a national call, and that is why the fire service is there. It's a national call, and we will be there. However, you know, much of the job that we are going to do to assist in this exercise depends on water. So I will use this medium to appeal to Ghana Water Company to make water available.
Field presidential aspirant Madam Akua Donko was also at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to pledge her support for the crusade. The latest UN report on sanitation named Ghana as one of the 10 worst countries. The minister is, however, confident adopting such cleanup initiatives and composting, among other strategies, could help the country out. This has been Latif Idrisu's report for Joy News.
Participants at a two-day NHIS stakeholder dialogue say that the current cost structure of the scheme is unsustainable. The participants also observed that the high and increasing funding gap, as evidenced by the income and expenditure trend over the past 5 years, call for a fundamental structural review. On the back of this, I have been speaking with Communications Manager for the National Health Insurance Authority, Seloma Donu, and CEO of the Health Insurance Services Providers Association of Ghana, Frank Richard Toblu. So I'm rich. I want to use the National Health Insurance card for any hospital. For instance, if I go to one very, very expensive hospital, I want to use the National Health Insurance, which does not accept private facility, which does not accept the National Health Insurance scheme. But I register all the same. What would I be using the card for? Because I'm registering, I'm not using it. It can't even pay for the facility where I go to. I won't need the card for anything at all, and it's renewable. If I don't renew, you still don't make the money you're looking for anyway.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's in the law. I mean, there's a reason why it's also called a social health insurance scheme. There's a reason why it's called a risk pooling tool. You know, what it means is that we are each other's keeper. You know, I may pay or I may renew or register to be an NHIS member, but in actual fact, maybe the whole year I've not been ill, so I don't get to go to hospital, so I don't get to utilize that amount I've expended on the card. But that doesn't take away from the principles underpinning the insurance. And I'm sure the makers of the law considered all these things, but still came out to say that for this reason it is supposed to be like this. You know, when the rich and the poor, when everybody contributes, you know, you have more money available to you to take care of people. You may not be using it yourself, but your relative somewhere who doesn't have money and will be enjoying it for free may be benefiting from your contribution. You never know. We believe that as a society,
but
we are interconnected.
You already pay taxes.
We are interconnected. No, it's a basic.
Wait. Let's take it one at a time. I'm paying taxes, and so if there should be any benefit, and I've already paid my quota.
You know, there are so many ways of raising money. Currently, the bulk of the money the NHIS gets is from the 2.5% levy from the tax or the VAT component of that. That is not enough to keep the scheme afloat. That is why we have a combination of sources of income. We have the tax element, we have the premium, we have some interest on investments we've made. We have, I mean, a number of other sources, you know, the SNIT contributions. We have a number of, you know, sources we get money from. So one alone may not be enough. The premium is a good component of it. So the fact that you...
Okay, so here's it. I register for the card. After it expires, if I don't register again, you don't get that revenue source.
You know, I think you're not getting me well. The card is renewable yearly. So as far as it's mandatory by law, you are supposed to keep renewing.
No, here's the question.
If you go somewhere that a card is required for something and it's not, I mean, it's not active, it means it's not active.
You see, I like the idea that the haves should pay for the have-nots. But if we don't put the right structures in place...
What the right structures are what?
We will not end up getting it. Okay.
Where the right structures are
You speak about the fact that if you go and you have an expired card, you may not have to use it. But don't forget that we have other sources of identification. We have the passport. We have the driver's license. We are now going to get a biometric national NIA card.
I'm happy to...
If we should find more concrete ways of making sure that the haves pay for the have-nots.
I'm happy to be engaged in this conversation, but I think you are expanding the discussion beyond, you know,
what the NHI can do.
Beyond what the NHI can do, and beyond what we can immediately tackle now. For now, it is in the law. So if you are against that, then you find a way of calling for a review of the law.
No, I am not against that, but I want to make sure the implementation is without hiccups, so that the haves can actually pay for the have.
That is how it is now, because that clause will compel the haves to do what they are supposed to do. It's a society. That is what the law says. Unless, of course, we want to debate the law, you know, but that is what the law says. And our job is not policy making. Our job is not to legislate.
But your job will be implementation. How do you intend to do that?
So if you have that's what we are doing. I mean, it's a stakeholder thing. So we keep collaborating with bodies. Now, I just give you an example. That a lot of the people now, when they are going to secondary school for the first time, they need proof of NHIS. You know, that is one of them. Aside that, you may be very rich. You know, you may get somewhere. You may have to attend hospital. Anything could happen to you. If you have an NHIS card, there is a way that things can get to you. In fact, if it's an emergency, the NHIS takes care of it. You know, how do we get money to do that? Of course, you may pay taxes, but is that alone enough to take care of you in that situation?
When I say it is unfair, is that let's begin to admit the fact that the National Health Insurance Authority apparently is a regulatory body, and then we have what you call National Health Insurance Scheme. All right. Now, the National Health Insurance Scheme, under the authority, we have also what we call various private health insurance institutions.
Okay.
Now, if you begin to make this mandatory, that unless you become a member of the National Health Insurance Authority, it means that you are denying other private health insurance institutions in the country their right to have access to the numbers, also to operate as a private health insurance organizations. Of course, if I have health insurance, then it means that there is no need for me to go and have, let's say, a health insurance with any other private health insurance company. You understand what I'm saying?
If you want more than the health insurance is giving you, you can go there. You're watching News Today. There's more to come. Don't go away.
Good afternoon, I am Baba Tandol. We are bringing you sports on news today, and we begin with under-17 issues where media officer of Cameroon's under-17 and under-20 team, Albert Emoni, has applauded the Confederation of African Football, CAF, for disqualifying Ghana from participating in next year's Youth Championship for fielding an overaged player in their qualifiers. The Ghana Football Association has appealed CAF's decision to disqualify the Black Starlets from the tournament, but Albert Emoni remains optimistic that CAF will squash Ghana's appeal and declare them winners of the qualifiers. He said if the decision is not overturned if the decision is overturned in favor of Ghana, it wouldn't change the fact that Ghana used an overaged player. Away from football, we're going to be talking athletics, and you know the Ghana Athletics Association is holding its Congress on November 15, and during the Congress there would also be an election to elect new executives to steer the affairs of the association for the next 4 years. Now, 3 gentlemen are vying for the position. We have the incumbent chairman, that's Professor Francis Dodu. He is standing against former chairman of the association, Mr. George Luchot, and of course, Dr. Lamte is also vying for the same position. We already heard from a former athlete of Ghana, a former national athlete, 100 meters and 200 meters, Kweku Nimako. Now, today we're here with one of the candidates for the election. He is a former chairman, Mr. George Luchot. Good afternoon to you, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so a former chairman between 2001 and 2004, am I right?
Yes, you're right, yes.
Okay, why do you want to... Say again?
It was a long time ago.
Quite a long time ago, but why do you want to come back?
Oh, it's not me who wanted to come back. I mean, I had a lot of requests from athletes, from coaches, from sports administrators, from former chairmen, athletes dating back from the 60s, right up to the present, some of them I don't even know them.
I see.
But they want me to come back. So I was quite astounded. I said, well, what did I do that you want me to come back?
I see.
But they said, no, they want me to come back. They feel that things have gone wrong, and maybe, I don't know.
Did all these people who made the request to you tell you exactly what has gone wrong and exactly what they want you to come and fix?
They feel that somehow they have been alienated from mainstream athletics. Athletics seems to belong to a small clique of athletes and people, and that mainstream athletics here in Ghana seems to be left out. That's how they feel. And I think for quite some time, a lot of us have been feeling that way.
I see.
And I guess that is why maybe we want to come back and see whether we can have a change in policy.
But in your own opinion, what is the state of Ghana athletics today?
I think it is not in a very good shape.
Why?
It's not in very good shape. We've had the worst Olympics ever. We've had the worst World Championships ever. You know, and many of our former athletes left before their prime. Geza was told he was too old and had to go to and he decided to go to naturalize for Holland. And stories are being bandied around that he went there because he wanted the money or so forth. It is not true. I spoke to Geza, or I chatted with him, and when I told him I was standing for election, he was happy. He said, "Oh, how I wish he was jumping for Ghana again."
I see.
So you see, there's some fundamental things
wrong.
That is wrong.
But during your time, I mean, what were some of your achievements?
Well, I think what we did is that we tried. There's a lot of saying that we did not bring any young people up. But we did we had a lot of young talent in my time coming up. Kadwachi, Nimaku, Adade, you know, a whole lot of people. But you ask yourself, well, what's happened to them?
Exactly.
What has happened to them? We had the best junior relay team in West Africa.
In West Africa?
Yes, we did.
Wow.
The Nigerian chairman at that time wanted our relay team to come to Nigeria to train with their athletes.
Oh, I see.
but the sports council at that time refused.
Okay.
You know, we were that good. You had just a huge young crop of people coming up.
Did any of your athletes win laurels for Ghana?
Oh, I mean, all African Games, under my chairmanship, we won the highest haul of gold medals and medals of any games ever. It was the most successful games Ghana ever had.
Okay.
And we had some achievements.
Okay. So if this is your problem, then it means that you're not happy with the current executive.
No, we are not. We are not happy with the current executive because I don't think they put emphasis on local talent in the sense that you have everybody seems to be from the United States. You have a Ghanaian. You have a Ghanaian. I don't know whether there's somebody sitting behind the computer and says, there's a lady in New York called Mary Boachi. She does a long job. Let us bring her. Instead of the lady in Bogafo who's also struggling. It seems to be all sleek and Americanized. That is not about athletics.
Wow. Wow. So then what do you want to do? I mean, you want to think things around, definitely, but what exactly do you want to do? What's your agenda? I thought we were going to have a very clean campaign based on issues. Based on issues. Unfortunately, as of last Saturday, you had Andrew Owusu going on the radio station. One of the coaches, the national team coaches.
Is Dr. Andrew Owusu, one of Francis Dodi's right-hand people.
Okay, what did he say?
Going on radio, maliciously maligning me, you know, defaming my character, my hard-earned reputation.
Are you suing him for that?
I'm suing him for that.
Have you sued him already, or you are?
We are in the process of suing him. I've met the lawyers and we are going to sue him because what he said.
He as a person or the entire?
No, he as a person.
Okay.
But he made those accusations. Okay. And I was not chairman at that time.
Okay.
I was not the chairman at the time of the incident which he was complaining about.
Okay. Okay. So you're suing him. That's
the process has started.
Okay. All right. But then, like I'm asking you, what exactly would you want to bring fresh on board?
What we would like to do is, first of all, the Athletics Association or Athletics Ghana is so divided. Very, very much divided.
So you need a united front.
We need a united front. I mean, I'll just give you one example. I was chatting with an athlete who is Legon. And I said, I am standing for the election against Dr. Francis Dodu. And immediately she wrote, how I hate that man. I said, no, you don't do that. You don't say that.
Wow.
And she apologized. Why has athletics
Everybody has an issue.
Why is that? What's the problem?
Okay.
What's the problem?
Okay.
So we need to get
First of all, to unite.
And
then
next, try and get finance for the private sector and see how we can move forward.
You think you can help
I think we can do
without the government funds?
No. I've always said it from the beginning that it's got to be a government-private partnership.
Okay.
You know, and then you will get the success.
I see.
We will need.
I see.
And that is what I'm aiming for.
Okay, so first of all is to unite them, and then to get finance to fund your projects, and then
the young try and get the young. Yes, room up the young talent. Not forgetting the ones who are who we call old, but we groom them. It's got to be a phase where you phase them out slowly.
Okay.
You don't just chop them off like what has happened.
Okay.
Who told you Margaret Simpson cannot throw the heptathlon again? Who told you Badanim cannot run?
I see.
And who told you Aziz even cannot run? And we just thrown all these people off. It's quite very unfair.
Okay.
Yes.
But there's something that could probably delay the Congress. I mean, it's the fact that there are supposed to be regional congresses held before the national one is done. I mean, what's the situation with that?
Well, I mean, from this studio, I'm going straight to see the chief executive of the National Sports Council.
Okay.
Because when you have a constitution, you have to follow the constitution to the core.
Yeah.
The constitution says regional elections must be held before national elections, blah, blah, blah. And why are we superseding these?
Do you think that there's a particular reason why the current executive is not really interested in the regional elections?
So as the incumbent, the regional members at the moment, the delegates, were people who...
They called you? Some of them called you to tell you they want you back?
Oh, 2 or 3 of them have done that, but that's certainly not enough.
So you think that he kind of, the current executive might lose the election?
I'm not going to make any... yes, I mean, but it's a very fair... The playing field must be
level. Definitely.
And the constitution says
regional elections
before the national elections. We got to go by the constitution.
Okay.
You just can't pick and choose which part of the constitution you want to implement.
Okay.
That should be wrong.
Okay.
And I will insist on that.
Okay.
And if you are not careful, another injunction could come on it, and we're not going to have an election.
So should we have the assurance that we're going to have the regional elections and then go ahead with National Congress on November 15? Do you think the date might change?
It might have to change.
It might have to change.
Pushed
forward
it will have to be pushed backward because we need time to organize regional elections and to be fair on people.
Okay.
And I do hope that the Sports Council, which has an oversight for these things, will make sure.
The directive actually came from the boss of the National Sports Authority, Mr. J. Pinge. He directed that regional elections be held first before the national elections.
Sure, and not only that, but the Constitution says that. So we cannot. I heard rumors that Mr. Pinge was going to be reported to the IAF for interfering in the affairs of the GAA.
Really?
Because he wants to make sure that you are following the Constitution. That's another thing for
another one.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Now, so your message simply is that you want a united front. You want to find means of funding, and then you want to tap young and raw talent right from here, not athletes based outside Ghana.
Everywhere, but we must look at Ghana. This is where Ghana athletics is. Not in New York. Not
what
in
happened
Tennessee.
to the athletes who are groomed from the Winneba Sports College? What happens to them?
Well, this is where we have to look at that very carefully. Okay. We have to look at how the athletes here in Ghana can really develop and move ahead. Not concentrating all the time. We've sent a lot of athletes to the States. It has not been successful.
Wow.
It's not been successful. I can name a whole lot of them. So that solution, let's send the athletes to the United States.
Wow.
That will solve everything. Has not delivered.
Mr. George Lutrot is a former chairman of the Ghana Athletics Association. He was chairman between 2001 and 2004. Thanks very much for your time,
sir.
Thank
you very much.
And he's seeking, should I call it re-election? Because it's been quite long. He is standing against incumbent Professor Francis Dodu, as well as Dr. Lamte. So you'll be hearing more of him, or more from him, in our subsequent bulletin. So
Thanks for staying on here on News Today. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces is appealing to government to help expedite efforts to relocate its personnel living in the 4BN barracks in Kumasi. This follows a fire outbreak that claimed 4 lives, including a pregnant woman at the barracks. Military, police and fire service personnel are investigating the cause of the inferno, which ravaged 3 wooden structures Saturday night. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports from the Ashanti region.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I know that this general area will eventually be handed over to Konfanoche Hospital. And therefore, we are moving to the new site, the new 4 battalion, or Idris Barracks, as we call it. We've not been able to complete all the accommodation that we require. But I think we've gone far. And the government has voted money to complete the remaining accommodation. So hopefully, by next year, government should be able to help us put up accommodation, living accommodation for our soldiers in the new barracks.
Hundreds of health trainees in the northern region have demonstrated internally against government over their unpaid allowances. They are unhappy about government's failure to employ 3 batches of students from the School of Hygiene.
Your concerns are legitimate. Nobody says that the concerns are not legitimate. Everybody knows that the things that you have raised here are legitimate. Okay. So all I will say on behalf of government is that I have taken it I will ensure that it gets to the right person who has to take the decision, and so that you'll be attended to. Because you are a group of people who are very, very important to the economy of this nation. At least if I don't know anything, I've been working for Ministry of Health for the past 15 years before I was appointed. I'm not new to so I understand the issues. I've been like you before, but the issue is that
civil society organizations such as Imani Ghana, CDD, Star Ghana, and Ghana Integrity Initiative, among others, are leading a national conversation on the International Monetary Fund bailout for Ghana, scheduled to be held on November 18 in Accra. The civil society organizations say they are seeking broad-based consultations to ensure conditions that come with the IMF bailouts, which government is currently negotiating, do not stifle the ordinary Ghanaian.
When there are bailouts, there's going to be conditions. It's whether you like it or not, there are going to be conditions. Some of the conditions could be biting. And our concern is that please let us minimize the effect, adverse effect on the vulnerable and the poor in the society. Part of it is agriculture. Part of it is health, education. These are areas where, but if you come in and you are talking about subsidies of petrol, for God's sake, rich people drive more than the poor. So, that is something that could be compromised. But you cannot compromise very pro-poor initiatives. That is what we are saying, and that is what we are going to advise the government on.